enjoy this long hair while you got it. I'm getting this shit cut tomorrow, and I'm getting this beard fucking getting rid of this shit too, because I look like a homeless person. But anyways, so me and Joseph just saw the new Joker movie. Joker, how do you say it? Folie Deux or Folie Deux?
Joker 2.
Joker 2. We saw Joker 2. And yeah, this movie's been getting a lot of reactions, kind of like the first one. But you know what? Let's just jump right into it. Joker. I called you Joker. Joseph the Joker. All right, Joseph.
Joseph the jackass.
Joseph the... All right. Joseph, did this movie put a smile on your face?
Yeah, but I don't know for the right reasons. Okay, so first off, I just want to say...
Oh, before...
the original...
Yeah.
The first Joker. I won't say the original, but the first Joker when it came out 5 years ago now?
Yeah.
When that teaser trailer dropped, I got really excited for it because it was very something different.
Me too.
Very artsy, very dark, very
grounded.
Story based on, depression and mental illness. And I thought it was something very brand new and fresh.
I was really excited to see the idea of like a person like Joker existing in the real world, where it's
a real study of that character,
where it's not like a comic book, it's more like this is actually fucked up and disturbing.
Mm-hmm. Even though that character is probably like the least like comic book Joker, but it's still a true aspect of him, which is his insanity.
Well, he's more accurate than Jared Leto.
Okay, yeah. So, but I did really love that. As much as I love that first movie, it is very depressing to watch. That's not one I watch a lot over and over, but it is a good movie. And I enjoyed Joaquin Phoenix's performance in that. So then, like 2 years ago when they announced a sequel was coming through, I was like, okay. I wasn't mad at it, but I understood why people didn't necessarily want it because, the first one was so good, I don't think it warranted a sequel. I really needed it. And then when they announced it was going to be a musical, I think I was like everyone else, like, okay. Intrigued, but I don't know how that sounds. And then Lady Gaga cast as Harley Quinn. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense why it's a musical.
Yeah.
And then the first couple trailers dropped for this, and I was like, okay, it looks better than I thought. Personally, I'm not a big fan of musicals in general, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a chance. It looks like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest meets La La Land.
Do you like La La Land?
Yeah, that's like one of the many musicals that I've actually liked.
Okay.
Then again, I guess every Disney animation is considered a musical.
You like those, right?
Yeah, but I'm a kid.
Yeah. But like, what about stuff like West Side Story and shit like that?
I guess the thing
about movies based on Broadway.
I guess the thing about musicals that I never liked is like, all right, I'm going through this dialogue, let me stop everything and just fucking sing for 3 minutes and then continue talking like if I just didn't do that, if I just didn't perform a whole act. That just kind of like threw me off.
Some bad musicals feel like that.
That's what this movie kind of felt like.
So,
okay, so that's what the mindset going into. I didn't have expectations for this movie. I just wanted to go in, see what it was, because a lot of the reviews were mixed. And I have mixed feelings. I'll let Brandon go ahead on to his take. I have mixed feelings.
All right. So me, get ready for a hot take, but Joker's one of my favorite supervillains ever. I know, really original opinion there, but
I was like, that's not a hot take at all.
yeah. No, but I was really excited for the first Joker movie, and I saw it, and I really, really liked it. As the years have gone on, I don't like it as much because it's like, okay, it is kind of just Taxi Driver with the Joker. Mm-hmm. But I like Taxi Driver and I like the Joker. So, like, I like that movie. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I still really like it. I could still, like, I know it is depressing, but I don't know. I could watch that movie a lot and enjoy it and get a lot out of Joaquin's performance and the cinematography. That movie does have issues. Like, I think there are times when the movie gets a little too derivative of stuff like Taxi Driver and other stuff by Scorsese, like King of Comedy. But I still enjoy it as like a Joker DC movie more than like an actual like cinema, whatever, Like when it got nominated for Best Picture that year, I was kind of like, really? Okay, sure. But yeah, I like that movie, and I was intrigued by this one because Joaquin Phoenix doesn't do sequels. So I was like, okay, well, maybe he saw something here, you know. When they announced it was going to be a musical, I was actually kind of intrigued by that. I was like, okay. Because, do you remember that shitty Killing Joke movie, the animated one, that sucked? There's a sequence in that movie where Joker has a musical number, and I remember watching that being like, man, like, this is really fucking underwhelming. He just kind of paces back and forth. Like a Joker musical number would be the craziest shit. I would actually like to see that. So I was looking forward to this, and then when I heard Lady Gaga was playing Harley Quinn, I was like, oh wow, that'll be interesting. Seeing like what I said about Joker, where it's like a realistic, grounded sort of take on him. I was excited to see that for Harley Quinn, and I love Lady Gaga as a singer and as an actress, so that got me even more excited. The only thing that I was really skeptical about was the fact that this is directed by Todd Phillips. His last sequel was The Hangover Part 2 and Hangover Part 3, which both suck ass. But
I didn't know he made Road Trip. Have you seen that movie?
Which one is that?
These 4 guys in, like, I think college go
No,
on a road trip.
I haven't seen that.
One of them accidentally...
I have seen Due Date, though.
That one's fucking hilarious.
Anyways, no, I haven't seen Road Trip, but I've seen all 3 Hangover movies, and the first one's good, I guess. But anyways, that was just the only thing in this movie that I was like a little nervous about. I was like, oh shit, Todd Phillips is still directing. He did good in the last one, but he seems very like, I don't want to do a sequel, and now he's doing the sequel. I was like, oh, is this gonna be like Gremlins 2, where like, you ever seen Gremlins 2? The director of Gremlins did not want to make a sequel, but they basically paid him a lot of money to. So Gremlins 2 is just a big middle finger to the first one.
So it's just Christopher Nolan with Dark Knight Rises.
Exactly. It's like him just fucking around. It's like Taika Waititi with Thor. He just fucked around. Like,
don't get me started there. Okay,
yeah,
I know what you're saying.
But like Gremlins 2 is like a parody of Gremlins 1. So I was worried that this would be that for Joker. So my expectations for this movie were, I think I'll enjoy it. I don't think it'll be as good as the first one, but I'm sure it'll be fun. And I've now seen this movie. And I also have mixed feelings. This movie's been getting a lot of reactions. A lot of people say this movie's terrible, it's horrible. I don't personally hate this movie. I don't think it's terrible. But I think there are parts of it that are terrible. But there are also some parts of this movie that I really like. But when you put it all together, this movie is a mess. It's confused. It drags. It feels unnecessary. And without getting into spoilers, the ending of this movie is fucking terrible.
I would say that's probably my, not worst, but my most underwhelming. And yeah, it's pretty it's a bad ending for a movie.
It's really, it just kind of leaves you on a,
why'd you even bother?
Why, you know, like.
So I'll say, okay, this I do not hate this movie, like you said.
Yeah.
This is not a bad movie. This is not a poorly made movie.
No.
There's a lot of good things in this movie. Some of the decision makings for this movie, I don't necessarily think it was for me or for what I wanted in a movie like this. I'll say that.
This is 2 different movies put together. And one of those movies I think is really interesting.
There's a good movie in here
yes.
somewhere.
The first half, it reminded me of Fan Four Stick, where like the first half, Fan Four Stick is worse than this. But when I was watching that movie, I like the first half, I was like,
before Doom.
Yes. I was like, okay, I can see what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they went for something different.
I get it. Okay, and then the second half of the movie, I don't know what happened. Studio.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck? And that's how this movie feels. Like the first half of this movie, we're not going to get into spoilers yet, but the first half of this movie I thought was actually pretty good. I was into it. A lot of it takes place in Arkham Asylum, and it focuses on setting up the Joker Harley thing. And I enjoyed that. I thought the cinematography in this movie is great. There are so many great shots. Like they did not, the cinematographer was not here for a paycheck. He was like, let's fucking do this. And I really liked the first half. And even the musical numbers in the first half of this movie. By the way, if you're wondering, when people, because like there's been like some debate before the movie came out of like, oh, how much of it is really going to be a musical. This movie's a musical.
It is a musical.
There are a lot of songs in this movie, so just
and
be prepared for
more
that.
Than 5.
And it got to the point where like on the like fourth to last song, we could hear a guy behind us being like, oh, not again. Fuck, again. And there was like 3 more songs after that. So just be prepared for that. There's a lot of fucking songs in this movie. But for the first half, I was enjoying it. This isn't a spoiler, but one of the songs is that song, like, For Once in My Life by Stevie Wonder. I love that song, and it's well done in the movie. And yeah, and honestly, the first half, I was like, okay, these are neat. And I can see why they wanted to take the movie in this direction. Mm-hmm. But as the movie goes on, the songs just become more and more just, like, random. They feel more thrown in. And then I realized, like, oh, the soundtrack of this movie is just made to sell another Lady Gaga album, basically.
I felt, as the movie went along, as the story progressed, as it finally picked up momentum, it got interrupted by a song.
Yeah.
And it happened every single time. I'm just like, God damn. Not that the song wasn't bad, but...
It just halts the movie.
I guess this is my fault. I'm not here for that. Even though that's what this is.
I don't know. I knew that was where it was going.
I know. I even knew that. But I still am like, can we get folks back on the story?
Yeah. It's padding out the runtime. By the way, this is not a spoiler. That scene in the trailer where Lady Gaga's doing this, she's air humping. That's not in the movie. It's not.
I was looking for it at the end.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that, and it's not in the movie. And there are some song sequences that like they put out a whole like set, and it looks great.
Beautiful to watch.
Yeah,
everything's nice, and
then it just stops and moves on. And I was like, wait, I thought that was going to be like a big sequence, and then it just stops, and it's like, all right, back to the movie. It just, I don't know. It feels like commercials. Like, it feels like you're watching a movie, and then you're like, oh, well, gotta wait for the movie to come back. And yeah, so like I said, what did you think of the first half of the movie?
I was kind of hoping for some more Easter eggs, to be honest with you, in Arkham. I thought they were going to say some inmates of like last names. I'm like, oh, it's an Easter egg to like.
You know, I was looking. There was one guy that walked up to him, and he has a name tag, and I was looking at him, I'm like, oh, I wonder who that is. And it's like, oh, it's nobody. What if it said like Crane or something?
Yeah, you know. Me and you look like that one guy that's bald.
There's one guy that's bald and has like circular glasses, and we're like, Hugo Strange? No way.
But there is a character in this movie that is a Batman villain.
Well, that's not a spoiler. He's in the trailer.
Oh, it's Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent. I liked him in the movie.
He plays the attorney going against Arthur Fleck in his trial.
I liked him in the movie.
And there's a little Easter egg at the end, kind of. They kind of threw at the end.
Yeah, there's no Bruce Wayne stuff in this movie at all, which was a little surprising. You see a Wayne building at one point, but that's it.
I would have figured that would have been a bigger headline, that the Waynes were part of that riot, that got killed during that riot.
That's true. But, yeah, they never mention it.
At all.
Yeah.
So what did you think of, or you want to go into performances? I don't think anyone in this movie had a bad performance.
No, all the performances were good. Joaquin was still great. I mean, Joaquin's always great.
I think Joaquin was a little more comedic in this one. There's more times I was cracking jokes.
Yeah, but intentionally. Like Arthur is actually pretty funny. Like, he has a lot of funny moments in this movie where he's trying to be funny. Like, and you're like, oh, that's...
The jokes he writes aren't funny, but himself.
But there's just like some mannerisms he does and like some faces he makes where you just kind of chuckle to yourself. Like, he never says anything well, he kind of does. But most of like the laughter you get from him is just like him like just doing something like with his arm or something, and you're like, oh wow, this guy.
Do you like Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, or this version of Harley Quinn?
Okay, so Lady Gaga. What do you think of Lady Gaga as an actress and a pop star?
I like her music, even though she hasn't made like a pop album in a while. But I've seen some scenes of her in American Horror Story. She looked fine in that. I really liked her in A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
In this, she's not like the quintessential Harley Quinn, like the Harley Quinn, because Joaquin's not this like Joker. Like they're different versions of these characters.
Very different.
I liked her. I kind of, not that I wish that I got more from her, but like I wanted more of her relationship with Joker to develop
Yeah,
through dialogue, not singing.
a lot of the scenes with Joker and Harley are just them singing and dancing together, and that's cool. But when you compare it to how many scenes of them and their relationship developing, it's
not much.
There's like maybe 2 or 3, and you're just like, okay,
So this movie is like 2 hours and like what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
About 45 minutes of this movie is musical.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that tells you how much left of the movie there actually is of dialogue.
Yeah, and I thought Lady Gaga was good.
She did.
Her performance was good, and she was good at singing. I mean, it's Lady Gaga, of course she's good at singing, but
she brought it.
Another performance I liked was Brendan Gleeson as the Arkham guard. I thought he was really, really good. But yeah, Lady Gaga in this movie, I liked her performance, but that character, I would have liked a little more on her. Like, I would have liked to see, I don't know, like, the movie opened, well, I don't want to say what the movie opens with, but it opens with something, and I was expecting the movie to open with, like, Harley's backstory or something, but they just tell you what happened, and they never show you, and it's like, oh, that's not that interesting. Like, you just, okay. Like, I don't know, most of her in this movie is just her singing, and that's fine, but, like, there's not a lot of character that, like, if you didn't know who Harley Quinn was, like, from the comics, from the animated series, from all that, you wouldn't really, like, know that much about this character. A lot of the stuff that I thought about with this character was because of context I've gotten from other Harley Quinns. You know what I mean?
Do you see Harley Quinn in this movie, or do you see Lady Gaga playing her version of Harley Quinn?
I just saw, yeah.
I see
that's
more
a
Lady
great,
Gaga.
I saw Lady Gaga, yeah.
And Harley
and that's
Quinn.
not on her.
Because I see Arthur Fleck, Joker, rather than Joaquin.
Yeah.
Even though Joaquin's a little weird dude, but he gets lost. You get lost in his performance.
He's really good.
Where, not saying Lady Gaga was a horrible actor. I'm just saying, I think this role and movie accustomed to like what she's good at, what she's singing. You show more Lady Gaga than Harley Quinn.
Yeah, you see more. Yeah, I agree with you there. It felt like she was playing Lady Gaga more than Harley Quinn. So we talked about the first half. We're gonna try not to get into spoilers yet. We will tell you when we get into spoilers.
Do you want to give the rating before spoilers, or?
Yeah, just before we get into spoilers, I'll make this as vague as possible. But the second half of the movie, this is in the trailers, there's a lot of courtroom stuff in this movie, and that stuff, most of it is just characters from the first movie talking about what happened in the first movie. And it's a funny idea, like the Joker in a courtroom, but it just, I don't know, it just felt like it was padding out the runtime, those scenes. There's like 4 or 5 of them, and it's a lot of the movie, and I felt like this isn't really doing anything for me. It's just kind of a courtroom scene, and it's just characters telling us stuff we already know. You know, like, I don't know. And I talked about the last 10 minutes. I was kind of exaggerating a little when I said it was terrible, but I don't understand what they were trying to go for with the last 10 minutes of this movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but the last 10 minutes of this movie are just so, what the fuck?
Like you said, it almost feels like they made that ending because they didn't want to do another one. That's how I felt.
It just felt like Game of Thrones, where they're like, we don't fucking want to do this anymore. Fuck this.
No, I think the director knew he didn't want to make another one.
All right. Before we go into spoilers, let's give our rating and our recommendation level. If you like the first Joker, I don't know how you're gonna feel about this.
I say you're rolling a dice.
I'd say maybe
seeing this one.
Yeah.
It's up to you. I think a lot of people are just gonna see it just
because they like the first one,
or just of interest of like, let's see if this is a musical.
Yeah.
You said you saw people walking out.
A lot of people walked out of this movie, which was very strange. Like, a lot of people walked out before the movie ended. I guess
I don't want to say that, was this movie good enough for it to be made? Was it different enough that it felt like a reason to be made?
This movie
like, it was worth.
It just feels like.
Because obviously it was not good.
Do you remember those Fantastic Beasts movies?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the first one was an
Good.
interesting
Solid.
idea in the Harry Potter world. And you were like, cool.
And then they made a franchise.
And when they made the second one, like, you could just feel like, well, they kind of completed the story in the first one.
It has really nothing to do with it.
But I guess now we have to make a sequel.
A different direction.
And we don't know what the fuck to do, but we have to make a sequel. You know, like, that's what it felt like. It reminded me of that. This movie just, you can tell the first Joker wasn't made to have a sequel. And they had to make it, so they were just like, okay, let's do some funny sequences, but in terms of the story, it was really workmanlike. It just felt like every day Warner Brothers was calling Todd Phillips being like, where the fuck is that script? Like, we need Joker 2. And he's just like, shit, I don't know, this happens, and then fucking this, fuck it.
I feel like they could have come up with a better premise and execution if that was the case.
Yes. Just the Joker courtroom stuff is just like, that's not interesting, you know? I much rather this whole movie would have taken place in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
It would have been a much better movie. And this isn't a spoiler. Harley Quinn is not a psychiatrist in this movie. She's another inmate. And it would have been infinitely more interesting if she was Arthur's psychiatrist. There's so many missed opportunities in this movie. But yeah.
With all that being said, this movie's a 2. I give it this 5.5, 6.
I'd give
the first Joker like a 9.
I give the first Joker probably like a 7 or 8. This movie, I think I need more time to think on it, but right now I'm sitting at like a 5. Because, like, for a movie for me to get like a 3 or below, it has to actually like make me mad. I was never mad at this. I was never like, this fucking sucks. I was more just like,
in a state of, not shock, but like
confused.
Yes.
As to why they made the decisions they made. So I think it might go down to a 4, but right now I'm feeling a 5. But it's a low 5. Like, it's like teetering on a 4.
But there's, like I said, there's good things. I'm like, that shot, that
scene.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, cool. But
yeah.
As a whole.
But as a whole, yeah, it's a mess. All right, let's get into spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie, then you should get out. But let's face it, you probably already saw spoilers on Twitter. All right, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So,
did Harley lie that she had a baby?
I don't know.
That never got resolved.
I have no idea. Yeah, Harley Quinn and Joker have sex.
When he said that, she just started singing.
Yeah, that was...
That's the question.
Yeah, it was very strange. And then she just walks away.
Yeah.
You know what I thought? I thought, like, when he saw her on those stairs, I was like, oh, is it going to reveal that this is like he's seeing shit? It's like a hallucination or something?
I thought she was going to
she actually killed herself?
I thought she was going to kill him.
Yeah. That would have been so much more thematically appropriate than just some random asshole. Okay, there's this other inmate in Arkham who's like a younger guy who hangs around Arthur a lot. And then he's just like in a few scenes where he like smiles to himself in the corner and he's like, ha ha ha. And then at the end, he just kills Arthur. And then I think the implication is that he's going to become the Joker because he's like putting a smile on his face at the end. And it was just like, it really felt, and I hate saying stuff like this because it makes me sound like an angry nerd that lives in a basement. But this is how I feel. It felt like Todd Phillips just being like, fuck you to the audience. Like, it just felt like he was going like, fuck you. Like, okay.
How'd you feel about the animation in the beginning? The opening?
I thought it was fine. How'd you feel about it?
Maybe I would have enjoyed the whole movie if it was like that.
Could you imagine? That'd be the ballsiest thing ever by a studio.
So this movie opens up with like a Looney Tunes inspiration cartoon style Joker, kind of like summary of the first one in a way.
Yeah.
This basically the theme of this movie is them focusing is where Arthur Fleck, is he really responsible for the shit he did, or does he have a second personality such as the Joker? That's a mental illness.
Yeah.
But really, it was Arthur. Not saying that, he had a mental illness because he was abused when he was younger, but he is responsible for those crimes he committed himself. There's no persona or shadow or
Joker's not another personality. That's just Arthur.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I didn't like about this movie was that, like, as soon as I heard the movie was going to be like about the trial of Arthur, I was like, well, no shit on how it's going to end. Like, of course he's going to be
guilty.
Like, of course, if he's not guilty, that would make no fucking sense. And I kind of went in. I wasn't spoiled. I didn't know this, but I went into the movie being like, yeah, he's probably going to fucking die at the end of it. He's probably going to put in the electric chair or something. And that would have actually been better than the actual way he died.
I also got a question.
Yeah.
Who do you think the visitor was that was coming to visit Arthur?
Oh, that's a good question.
The guard never came back for him.
Yeah.
So I wonder, was that a play? Did the guard know that other prisoner was going to do that shit?
Maybe.
It was a setup?
Yeah, maybe. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I don't know. So, what was your favorite musical sequence? Or favorite scene, actually. Just favorite scene. Because all the musical sequences were kind of the same. My favorite scene...
I think my favorite musical piece was when they were talking through the glass and Arthur confronts her about her lying.
Oh, yeah.
And she sings a song and she draws the bloody smile. That was one of the ones that stuck with me.
Yeah. I like the one where after Harley burns down a part of Arkham,
And
they go
they're
outside
dancing.
and they dance.
That
I like
was
that
good.
one a
That was
lot.
good.
I was like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, the first half of this movie I liked. Did you like the first half? Because I was like, this is pretty good. I don't know why people are shitting on it.
Yeah, but I was kind of like, I guess from the beginning, there wasn't a setup to like where it is gonna go. You know.
Yeah.
So I guess I was the only scenes I really liked was when Arthur was interacting with Harley, but I'm trying to remember the scenes where they were talking and it wasn't just singing, and it's hard for me to remember that because there wasn't many.
Yeah.
Or that were talking and then they led to them singing.
Yeah.
But
Every sequence started the same too. It started out with them like slowly talking like, why do? And then they go into like, every single sequence started out like that. Yeah, I like the first half. The second half, basically when the courtroom stuff started, the movie just became a mess to me. Because it just like it's just courtroom scene and then some bullshit at Arkham and then a courtroom scene and then another courtroom. There's like 6 different courtroom scenes in this movie. I'm like, fuck.
the one piece when Joker and her are dancing on the rooftop and it says Hotel Arkham.
Yeah, I expected that sequence
That
to be like 3 minutes longer than it was.
Yeah, that one was, I think, the best one. That was the best looking one.
Yeah, but it's like 30 seconds long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries, man. Hey, I got a question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound like a fucking weirdo, but this is a legitimate question. In that scene where the 3 guards were beating him up, did they rape him?
It's implied they did something terrible, but I'm thinking like, well, what other do you do that's so terrible?
Because I thought they were just gonna beat the shit out of him.
I guess they did.
But
they killed the other inmate that was singing.
Yeah.
The Saints.
I do like how this movie portrays Arkham in terms of like they don't really give a shit about like rehabilitating these people.
Well, have you seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
No, I haven't.
Well, in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, it's about prisoners in a mental state hospital. It has Jack Nicholson and Danny DeVito and like the actors.
I gotta see it.
The clothing they're wearing in the prison is the same ones they were wearing in that movie. And they would make them take their medication like that and check if they actually took it.
Interesting.
So I feel like they got some inspiration from that.
Huh.
But in that movie, Jack Nicholson and other inmates are trying to break out. That's the whole point of the movie. And I figured like, okay, if you
that's what you thought that's what this movie would be?
If you had Harley Quinn be the psychiatrist, she ends up falling for him.
And then she tries to break him out.
And they're trying to get all the inmates out for Easter eggs of like, they're not their villain counterparts yet. And they break out of Arkham. And Harley and Joker have to pay their repercussions in court.
Yeah.
So I feel like if it focused more on the Joker-Harley dynamic of their relationship and breaking out, I feel like that would have moved the story along.
And it would have been better.
And his character along.
And the musical sequences would have been more natural.
Rather than this movie just, like you said, just going over stuff that happened in the first one.
Hey, do you remember this scene in the first one?
Yeah.
Well, this character's going to explain what it was like from their perspective.
Right.
And it's like, well, I didn't really...
It's just dealing with the repercussions of everything that happened in the last one.
Yeah, like the little guy from the first one, he goes up and he explains what happened, and I was like, oh, maybe we'll get some new perspective. But all he says was, I was scared. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Like, we knew that. Like, it doesn't tell us anything new. But you're right. This movie... Here's how this movie should have been, right? Arthur in Arkham. He's crazy. Harley Quinn is a psychiatrist. She falls in love with him. The whole movie is their relationship developing. There's some musical numbers here and there, and then at the end she fucking breaks him out and they go off together. That would have been... It's a lot simpler. It would have been much better.
After credit scene with Batman.
No, not that shit. But like, that would have been so much better, because the first Joker movie was pitched as a Joker origin story. That's what it is. And it ends with him in the asylum, and you're like, okay, he's the Joker and he's Arthur.
This should be the origin of Joker and Harley.
Exactly. So you should have that, and then fucking, you can end it there. Joker and Harley go off together, and you're like, okay, they're Joker and Harley now. The story's over. I know what happens next. They fucking fight Batman, and they do dumb, crazy shit together.
And that's the third one.
But this movie just, I don't know what the fuck. I really think he just was pissed off that he had to make this and just fucked around.
So you're blaming Todd Phillips?
Yes.
For this movie?
He just was a total asshole about it. Like, he was like, oh, fuck, I have to make this fucking movie that I don't want to make, but they're paying me a lot of money, but I don't want to make any more, so I'm just going to make some bullshit and then, like, just have him die. I don't know. And if you're going to have him die, honestly, it would have been better if he just, like, got the death penalty, and then they put him in the electric chair, and as he's in the chair, he sees, he just laughs and he dies, like fucking, like the Green Mile, you know?
Yeah, like you go away and all you just hear is the shocking in him laughing.
Yeah, the shock is going on, he laughs, roll credits. That would have been better. Or the Joker and Harley thing I mentioned, but the way they just went about it was just like stupid. Like, that's the only word I can describe it. Stupid.
In the prison scene when Harley goes to visit Joker, and they're kissing, and they're about to lead to having sex, and she pulls out something. I thought she was pulling out a condom. I didn't think she was pulling out shit to put makeup on his face.
Where would she get a condom?
Well, why the fuck would she bring makeup?
That's true. That's true. I don't know why I said that.
You're gonna go see this guy, which I'm pretty sure that was his first time having sex.
Probably, yeah.
Because he's never been with it. All his girlfriends were imaginary, so he's never...
Yeah, it probably was.
So, and then he came in her. So that's what I'm saying. Was the baby thing real or not? Was she just manipulating him?
Yeah, that really gets no resolution.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Is she pregnant? Is she not?
He asked her,
"Are you pregnant?"
What about the baby? And she just starts.
And she's just like, "Why do? What the fuck?" Yeah, that was really unsatisfying. Just like, I mean, just the ending with the last scene with Harley and Joker. She just like.
What was the point of cutting her hair at the end?
Oh, I don't know. But she was just like, "You're not Joker. I don't love you anymore." And then she just walks off, and that's really unsatisfying. That's just like, okay. It's unsatisfying. I think that's a good word for this movie. It's just very unsatisfying, you know? It just kind of leaves you in a kind of a sour note. And
the most satisfied I got was when the bomb went off in the courtroom and I saw Harvey dead.
I really thought that was kind of funny.
It's like, oh, he's got it.
I liked Harvey Dent in this movie.
Yeah.
I liked him.
But he didn't come across as like Two-Face. You get what I mean? But I guess this movie doesn't demand it. He's just a regular attorney.
But he felt like Harvey Dent, like very confident, very like a little sleazy.
We didn't get to see the other side.
Yeah. I really thought when the courtroom blew up, my thought was like, oh, Harley's gonna be on the other side of it, and he's gonna see her, and she's gonna be like, I did this for you, and then they're gonna run off. Exactly, and then they're gonna run off together. Movie's over. But that doesn't happen. The movie goes on for like another 10 minutes, and it's just like, fuck.
Damn, she didn't say that line in this movie. I just realized.
No, she never called him. He calls her Lee. That was kind of like.
Well, Harley.
I guess I just wouldn't think Lee would be a nickname for Harley. My name is Brandon. You don't hear people calling me Dunn.
I know he was taking his medication, but his laugh wasn't as like in your face.
Yeah, that's true. He wasn't taking his medication, but it didn't really feel like he was.
After he met her, he stopped taking his medication.
Yeah, before that he was just kind of quiet and
to himself.
Yeah. So I guess him not taking his. Yeah, I guess so.
I know it was kind of like, we were just talking about everything that happened in the last movie, but it was cool to see Zazie Beetz' character and the other guy come back for this one.
I didn't like seeing Zazie Beetz because that's the whole thing in the first one. You wonder you wonder if he killed her or not. But in this movie, it's like, nope, he didn't. So that scene means nothing now.
There was a deleted scene in that movie.
I know, but like
he gives her flowers.
But it's not in the movie. So
yeah, I know.
So like, if I don't consider deleted scenes canon, I really don't.
But
if it's not in the movie, it's not fucking.
It
canon
makes sense that he wouldn't kill her because he didn't kill anyone that was nice to him.
Yeah, but like, it's nice to come to that conclusion on your own instead of just the movie telling you like, nope, you didn't kill her. He didn't.
Well, just don't watch the sequel.
That's how I feel. Like, have you ever seen The Umbrella Academy?
No.
So the last season of that show came out this year, and it was fucking terrible. It was awful. It ended the series on a really kind of like this. It ends the series on a really unsatisfying and dumb note. Makes no sense. It's just bad. But thankfully, the third season has an ending where you're like, you know what? That's an ending. I can just pretend that it ended there and season 4 never happened. That's how I feel with this movie and the first like hour and 50 minutes, because right after he's like, right after the bomb goes off, I can turn the movie off and be like, Harley did it, and he and her run off together. That's the ending.
Or he just dies in the courtroom.
Yeah, realistically, he should have died.
Yeah, he's the most lankiest, unhealthy person there.
Yeah, he should have fucking died. Like, and there should have been at least one person where like body parts just flew everywhere.
That won't be that great.
Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna watch the movie, and then as soon as the courtroom stuff stops, I'm gonna shut the movie off and pretend he just escaped.
I wonder if you can, like, if someone can, like, make an edit of this movie where they cut out all the musical scenes. How would it flow?
It'd be 15 minutes long. No. If you can, yeah, you can.
Yeah, they just replace the musical scenes with like 2-3 lines of dialogue.
You know, in a movie like La La Land, there's songs in that movie that actually advance the plot and like mean something thematically. You know, and in this movie, aside from like maybe a couple, most of the songs are just in there just cause. You know, they don't really add anything to the movie thematically, or they just feel like they're padding out the runtime. Like,
I was disappointed when they were singing on their talk show that it wasn't real. I thought that was gonna be like the end game of where we're going at.
in the trailer, when that was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, oh, this is one of their hallucinations.
You
thought that was real?
I thought that'd be pretty cool. If they were to make a parody like, oh, I killed Murray's and now I have my own show, running our own show.
That'd be kind of funny.
And then he loses his shit. He's like, it's okay, honey.
Yeah.
Give him what they want, and he kills like the whole audience.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that makes for a better like scene, right?
I don't think anybody would want to see a mass shooting in the theater, though.
Well, no, they didn't want to see Robert De Niro get killed, but you know.
I guess so.
This isn't real life, Brandon. It's a movie.
I know.
If you can't differentiate that, then people.
I'm just saying, like, just because I don't want to see like someone get raped in a movie, even though it's not real.
I don't want to see someone get inspired by shit like this. But.
Yeah, nobody wants. Yeah, but god damn, I'm really. I'm not. I know I sound angry, but I'm really not that angry. I'm just more like, okay, that was unnecessary and kind of pointless. But I still have the first one that I can just enjoy, and this movie was just like some weird, dumb fan fiction that came out afterwards. So, yeah, I wish I liked this movie more. I wish this movie was written and directed by somebody else.
I would just say the direction they went just wasn't for me. They tried something new, and it just wasn't for me.
Sometimes you take a risk and it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, and it seems like generally wasn't for a lot of people, and that's okay. Sometimes you don't hit the mark every time, but they tried something different.
Yeah, I applaud them for that. But
I guess if you wanted to make a sequel, I feel like there would have been a way better. There's a blueprint already established.
There's a great movie in there
that
somewhere.
You can still take creative different choices on, and it can still work.
Yeah,
but it did not follow the blueprint, and they took more difference in creative more.
There ain't gonna be a Joker 3, that's for sure.
No.
I agree with you. I think that this movie has some good things in it, but it's like it had all the ingredients. It's like if you had all the ingredients for a great lasagna, and then some guy came in and was like, let's make a steak out of this. Like, that's not what the ingredients were there for. You know what I mean? Like, when I hear a Joker and Harley Quinn movie, I don't want to see Joker in a fucking courtroom talking about nothing.
I don't think musical right away.
I don't know. I think Joker and musical can go together, but not like this.
There's a version, I think this... Like I said, there's a good movie in here somewhere.
When you hear Joker and Harley Quinn, Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga musical, you can get something really great out of that, but this is not that.
Maybe if the musical wasn't in the forefront, like
Yeah.
if it was a secondary rather than came first in priorities.
Like the first one had a lot of music in it, but it wasn't the forefront of the movie.
Right.
You know, it'd be hilarious if Venom 3 ends up being better than this movie. That'd be pretty funny.
I like High School Musical too. I don't know why I said that.
What does that have to do?
Because I was trying to think of other musicals. I'm like, oh, musical, High School Musical. That's in the fucking name.
I like musicals a lot. I mean, I don't like all of them, but
You like Cats?
I've never seen it. I'm also allergic to cats.
Oh, well, they're CGI. So that's
Oh, yeah. It's on my watch list though.
I can't.
But I
can't think of any other musicals besides like Mamma Mia.
I like La La Land. I love Disney animated musicals. I blast that shit in my car when I'm driving. I'm like, yeah, I'll make a man out of you.
Yeah, but see, those songs progress the story.
Yeah, these songs in this movie were just like, fuck it.
These songs are just covers of like, let's just hear Lady Gaga sing and Joaquin Phoenix sing, which he can sing. He played Johnny Cash.
It was okay.
Obviously, but you could tell Lady Gaga cared more about it and really brought it when it was her turn to sing.
Joaquin brought the acting, she brought the singing.
Like Lady Gaga sang.
Yeah.
Joaquin was singing as Arthur Fleck.
There's one scene where she's singing and he's just dancing, and I was like, that's pretty much what I thought would happen.
Yeah, because that's what he did in the first one.
He danced and she sings. Okay, sure. Well, in the end,
he smokes a lot in this movie, man. Every scene he has a fucking cigarette in his mouth.
I think Joaquin Phoenix smokes. Yeah, he does smoke a lot in this movie. I was like, Jesus.
Even in the first
Every time
too.
he kissed Harley Quinn, I was like, he probably fucking, his breath is probably terrible.
I think
there was one guy. I don't want to shame mentally ill people or mentally disabled people, but he just like would clap at random parts of the movie, and then near the end he just started like dancing, and then he left.
You're talking about in our audience?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in the movie.
No. There was some guy in the audience who was just like dancing near the end, and then he just walked away. I was like, that was.
There was one person that started clapping after Lady Gaga sang her first song.
Oh, that's funny. There's one guy behind us who would not shut the hell up, but it was kind of funny because every time a new song started up, he was like, there's one part where he's like, oh my fucking God.
Damn it, not again.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I think he related to the Joker because the Joker would say something like, I want to kill myself, and then he'd be like, relatable. I'm like, I don't want to be around that guy. But I will say, when the movie ended, by the way, fucking like 10 people walked out, which I just want to emphasize. I know I said that, but like 10 people walked out of the fucking movie before it ended. But after the movie ended, I heard a bunch of like people talking angrily, and I heard like one person be like, that was the worst movie I've seen all year, and I heard another person be like, that was not good. So our audience, I think, hated it.
But they didn't know it was a musical though.
I don't know. You know what's funny? I think
our expectations going in were different, knowing it's a musical.
I knew it was going to be a musical, so I wasn't like that surprised by it. Like I knew going in, like this is a musical.
I don't know if the general audience, just watching the first one, not seeing promotional shit, knows.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
If you don't know this is a musical, you're gonna be in for a surprise.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna hate this movie.
Or if you just think like, yeah, they'll probably have like maybe 2 or 3 musical sequences.
Like,
no, this is a musical. I will. You know what's funny? Out of everybody in the theater, me and you probably liked it the most, because I think everybody else just hated it.
I think the couple next to me was enjoying their time.
Maybe.
Well, like you said, I don't think there's anyone yet that's come out just flat out love this movie more than the first one.
No, I don't hear anybody saying that, like, it's just as good as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
No, nobody's saying that.
I think it's a mixed bag of, like, I really fucking hate it, or it's like, it wasn't that bad.
You know, based on this movie, I think Todd Phillips is just an asshole. Because he's saying all this shit. I stopped making comedies because people are too woke these days. It's like, bro, shut the fuck up. South Park is still airing new episodes, okay? You can, like, come on.
I get what he's saying, though, in terms of, like, movie comedies.
But, like, The Hangover is not, like, an edgy, like...
But they don't make movies like that anymore.
Like
really.
Hangover?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that's less about woke, and that's just... I think it's just comedies just don't really do well in theaters anymore. But, like, when you think of, like...
The jokes Alan said... I didn't know they give out rings at the Holocaust.
You can still hear that. You can still make jokes like that. I feel like
he was a retard.
I don't know. I don't know. But like the ending of this movie, like you could just tell he was writing it like, yeah, fuck everybody who liked the first one, and I don't want to make any more of these. Fuck you. I got a paycheck. Like,
well, he probably got. I imagine he got critiqued a lot for the first one in terms of violence when it first came out.
Oh yeah, this movie's not as violent as the first one.
No,
I guess
well,
except for the end.
It's a musical.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to see Tarantino direct a musical.
Now that would be something. That he's supposed to direct a Star Trek movie.
That never got made.
That would have been interesting. Just imagine fucking Kirk saying the N-word over and over again. All right. What? Dude, all of Tarantino's movies, like, in Pulp Fiction, he says the N-word to Sam Jackson's face.
They don't say it in Kill Bill or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
They say that shit in Pulp Fiction. They say it in Jackie Brown. They say it in Django. He loves that word.
Every movie that has Samuel Jackson.
Pretty much. Sam Jackson maybe gave him the pass. I'm just saying. He would put Sam Jackson in the fucking Star Trek movie, and that would give him an excuse to be like, we're going to use the N-word like crazy.
Yeah, but Sam Jackson's always the best character in every movie he's in Tarantino movies.
This is a hot take, but I think Sam Jackson is the best performance in Django Unchained.
I don't know if he tops Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz is good. Maybe not best performance, but he's my
third.
He's the best character.
Every character is better than Jamie in that movie.
Django is the least interesting character in that
sadly.
movie. Anyways, so thank you for watching our review of Django Unchained. No, okay. Anyways, so final thoughts on Joker, Folie, whatever it's called.
5.56. If you're hesitant to go and see it, maybe it's not worth it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure
it's pretty unnecessary.
Yeah, maybe wait. If you don't like musicals in general, I feel like you're just not gonna have as good a time.
If you love the first movie and you don't like musicals,
this is different.
Don't see this.
It has some beats and themes that are the same, but it is different. It is a musical, so take what you want with that.
In my opinion, like I said, I don't hate this movie. It doesn't make me mad.
I don't know if Lady Gaga has a lot of fans.
Bro, she's a cultural icon. What are you talking about?
Compared to like Beyonce and Taylor Swift, I don't know if she's up there. But I know she has fans, but I don't know if they're going to make a big deal about supporting this movie like they did with A Star is Born when that came out.
No. I like seeing Lady Gaga act, though. I think she was good in House of Gucci.
Oh, I didn't see that movie.
Yeah, you should watch that movie. Jared Leto's great in that movie. He plays Mario, and he's fucking awesome. No. Anyways. Yeah, okay. I don't hate this movie. I think it's okay. But there are parts of it that are very frustrating and unsatisfying.
It just wasn't for me. I'll say that. It just wasn't for me.
I wouldn't say it wasn't for me, but I would say it was just unnecessary. It just felt like they didn't really want to make it. It just felt like Todd Phillips didn't want to make it. Everybody else showed up. Like the performances are good, the cinematography's good. There's nobody to blame but Todd Phillips. So, hey, maybe we can get a Hangover 4. I'd watch that. Or maybe they get hung over in NASA and they end up in space. That would be the shit.
I would want a Hangover 4. Or a Due Date 2.
Yeah. My dad would never do that. He loves me.
Due Date is underrated. What's that?
Old School is underrated.
That one too. He also made I never saw it, but Starch and Husky.
I never saw that.
Yeah.
Well,
that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you for watching our review. This was 50 minutes, almost 50 minutes. Our next review will probably be Venom 3, probably.
As much as there is of dialogue in this movie. 50 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, see you for Venom 3, I guess. Oh, before we end it, this is off topic, but what do you think of the Penguin so far? Because that's also a Batman villain related story. So let's talk about that real quick. The first 2 episodes have dropped. What do you think of that so far?
I've only seen the first episode. And I don't know if you ever saw the show Gotham.
I watched the first couple seasons. I think I stopped around the time, I don't remember when I stopped, but I watched a good amount of it.
That world and characters I'm most familiar with Gotham, and I just feel like the Matt Reeves Batman is just kind of doing a better version of what Gotham tried to do, and it's paying off.
I really like the Penguin in that show. I thought he was really good.
The what?
The Penguin in that show, Gotham.
Oh.
I thought he was one of the better characters on that.
Motherfucker.
Alright. But yeah, what do you think of the Penguin, besides the fact that it's kind of not as good as Gotham?
No, so far so good. I mean, every time I see that see Penguin, I'm like, damn, I forget that's Colin Farrell. He's just unrecognizable in all that makeup.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll make a review for Penguin, maybe, but like so far I really like it. I'm pretty into it. I think it's a little too derivative of Sopranos, which I just started watching. Like there are parts of it where I'm like, all right, you just made The Sopranos, but it's in Gotham, and it's the Penguin, but it's still good. I still really like it. I like the character of Cobblepot. I like that he's kind of different from usual, because usual Cobblepot's like really short, so he has to kind of make up for that. But this Penguin looks like he could pummel somebody.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I like the show a lot. It's definitely better than this movie. So they should make more stuff based on Batman villains. They should make a fucking Riddler movie.
I mean, honestly, if they wanted to, they could make a whole DC universe just based off.
Yeah,
Batman's
that's like
world.
what Sony's doing with Spider-Man.
Batman has so many villains and side characters that
I'm surprised Harley Quinn
popular.
hasn't gotten her own movie yet.
she did.
What?
Birds of Prey.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
That's how.
But they didn't
forgetful
call it
was.
Harley Quinn.
Well,
But they should have. I think it wouldn't have bombed if they did that.
they put Birds of Prey in that fucking long ass title, something Harley Quinn.
Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Which Harley Quinn is the name?
That'll sell a ticket.
That movie should have been Gotham City Sirens, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Should have had Catwoman and Poison Ivy and Harley. It would have been just them three.
Probably. I like that movie, though. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Go see Joker. Don't go see Joker. I don't fucking know. This definitely ain't making $1 billion like the first one. Guarantee you that.
Think it'll make half?
It'll make... I don't know. I really don't.
Oh,
We'll
I
have
guess
to
we'll
see.
see the opening weekend.
We'll see. All right, thanks, everybody. Yeah, I hope you're all enjoying that shitty Red Dead video I uploaded. 800 views. What the fuck?